Three, two,
two, one.
one. Hello.
No, what's going on?
What's going on? What's going on? What is
Welcome
this
back.
song?
Welcome back to Mozambique. Not
Mozambique.
It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
Mozambique. If you've noticed on the channel and the banner and all that, we're not Mozambique of geeks. We're called Mozambiques now.
R.I.P. Yeah, exactly.
So this was Liam's boss's idea, actually.
Yeah, it was one of my supervisor's ideas. Shout out to Trevor because I kind of we were talking about our podcast and stuff, and he was asking about it, and I think his son was watching The Flash, and obviously we were reviewing it.
Yeah, The Flash.
And so he just started sussing out our series of episodes, and then I don't know, I was just at work one day and we were just chatting, and he's like, have you ever considered shortening it to Mozambique? And I'm like, no, actually. And you know what, it fits a little bit better, I feel.
Yeah, because you called me not long after that, and you're like, bro, we got to change the name. Mozambique fits really well. Yeah. And I was like, damn, it rolls off the tongue. Actually, it's a really good name.
Yeah, because I feel like when you say Mozambique, it's kind of like a mouthful, and it's so yeah, I don't know. I kind of just felt, I'm glad that we made that decision before we started printing out shit, because that would have been,
because going onto the brochures and that, I did have these made up. I'll get them out because the bag reflects on the light. Hang on, give me 2 seconds. These, right? Our little brochures we made.
Yeah, buddy.
I just,
look at that.
I do want to give a shout out to the Adelaide Comic Centre.
Yes.
Greenlight Comics, Gamma Ray Comics, and my local chicken shop, Botanic Chicken, who have all been very, very lovely to have our brochures in their shops, which is awesome. And even the other day, the guy at Gamma Ray asked me how it's going. So they've been really supportive of the podcast and helping us get the name out and all that. So I just want to give a big thank you to them for helping us out. And then and what do you think of the logo? I designed the new logo, which I love.
It's good, man. I really like it. It's simplistic, but
Bro, look at the little dude.
Bro, is that you on God? Glasses, the cap, on
God. I thought it was a little nerd. You know what I mean? He kind of represents us, a little dude.
You got the clean shaven face of me and just the rest of you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, exactly. You're right, my man.
Not even probably clean shaven, but we'll be by the end of tonight. Because but yeah, well, I'm really glad the pamphlets and stuff came out the way it did, and again to have our podcast, it's just such an amazing thing to have. It shared in literally every shop in the state. So that way you're bringing together the entire
community. The main demographic that we're focusing on, which is comic book fans. We've got to be in comic book shops.
Yeah, that's it. And it's just it's really just reaching out to the right people, and it's connecting, and it's just, again, I love this community so much. So let's have the opportunity to expose ourselves to the right people. It's just it's a privilege. So shout out to Adelaide, shout out to Gamma Ray, shout out to Greenlight, and again, we can't thank you guys enough.
Yeah. Like Liam said, it's great, to have it, spread out among the community. And I don't know if you've seen them, but it just says local lads discussing everything nerdy. I thought that was a really great line. I thought it might draw a lot of people in, a lot of local people in.
Definitely.
At the Botanic Chickens, I've seen a lot of people read them. Some every now and then people pick them up, but I've seen a lot of people read them, which is great because hopefully they go home and they know someone who really likes us, these nerdy things. They go, hey, there's this podcast that I saw at the chicken shop,
That's it.
It out. But on today's episode, though, we are doing another movie review on the new fan film Spider-Man Lotus, which has obviously had a lot of controversy, but it is finally out. Came out, I think, last week or the week before.
2 weeks ago, yeah.
2 weeks ago. We are very late. We do apologize. But
scheduling conflicts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I watched it with our friend Matt, and then you watched it on your own. And then honestly, this one will be a very good episode because me and Liam have very, very different kind of thoughts and opinions about the movie.
Yeah, definitely. But that being said, we were discussing like a few things. Yeah. Should I start?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
start with you. Yeah, I'll start. So I want to start out with the downright positives. First of all, the suit is gorgeous.
Oh, the suit's amazing. Yeah, and it's awesome.
And
even the wrestling suit, the talk show suit, the reference to Jack Kirby comic, I thought that was really fun.
With like the webs and shit. Like, I mean,
I thought that was great.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, like, how many like Spider-Man movies like do that and pay homage to like? I mean, aside from like, I guess Homecoming with like the but that's like Stark technology. Anyway. Yeah. But I think it was really cool how they like just paid like a lot of respect, like the Ditko era, in film, and in their film. And I gotta say it, like, I mean, because I think it started out, Gavin made an Instagram post like of just the suit. And he's like, imagine if we actually got a following for this fan film. And then I think they invested all the fans donated, I think, to this movie. I think they came to a grand total of, I'm pretty sure, $112,000.
Over $100,000 which is amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's like, it really goes to show. And again, this movie got the attention of John Watts, Tom Holland, I think Andrew Garfield. So yeah, it's just like, it's been a really big sort of deal within the Marvel and Spider-Man community. This is probably, I think, the only time a fan film has had that much of like an uprising of fans and uprising of like excitement for this film to be released. Like, it's not even an actual like cinema movie. It's not even an actual like Marvel movie. It's just a film by people who just like love this character and just pour everything. It's just a film dedicated to like Stan and Ditko and just like anyone who like loves the character. And I love that though. I really do. I think it's like wild. Like, there's just so much to enjoy about this film. Yeah. But I also feel that I think it was Warren Wade. I think that's how you say his name.
He plays Peter Parker. Yeah.
I like him, not as a person.
Oh yeah, as a person. This is a different topic. As a person.
But like,
but as an actor,
as an actor, as an actor, as a performance, as performing of Peter Parker, like he, and again, what I love about even just the introduction is we've never seen a live action Peter Parker like with like the turtleneck.
Oh, the turtleneck,
You know, like I love that though.
That's a really cool like Tim Sale reference from Spider-Man Blue. You know, the comic based off. I really like that.
And again, like, I'm a massive fan of Spider-Man Blue. I love that comic so much. I think it was a really just teary conclusion actually to that book.
It's a great book, yeah.
It is. I think to any Spider-Man, any Marvel fan, honestly, if you're looking to pick up a graphic novel, Spider-Man Blue is where it's at. And again, they pay there's a lot of 90s animated series aspects in there as well, which I also love.
Even the score was absolutely amazing. The main score for the movie, you know, when he's swinging through at the end, like the that was amazing.
Oh, dude, it is.
We had like a remaster. It was really cool because I really like it because obviously in Tom Holland they remastered the classic Spider-Man suit, the classic Spider-Man theme.
Yeah.
You know,
oh yeah, no, I don't know that song, Toby. I just completely crossed my mind. How could I not know that song? How could I not know that song? Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah. What the fuck is that, bro? It is fuck.
That's like if someone asked me, I really like it how like they remastered the Superman song for Superman Legacy. You know, the dun 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 dun. It's like, oh yeah, I don't fucking know that song.
Exactly, like not like that's my morning like alarm when I wake up.
It's the song I pray to when at night. You know, I just turn that on. I pray to it.
That was what Eddie Brock was praying to in Spider-Man 3. Like, you know, like I want you to kill Peter Parker. Just hear like a radio. Like that's just like, you know, on God, bro. On God.
No, but like they remastered the '60s song, and then I really like how they remastered the '90s song for this one, and I thought that was really fun. A little flashback to kind of our era of Spider-Man. I nearly said Superman then, and then our era of Spider-Man. I thought that was really fun. But talking about performances, you were talking about the performances of Peter Parker. I do want to say, because obviously, let's get it out of the way. Liam, what would you rate the film out of 10? Let's just get that out of the way, so then we can get the dynamic conflict going.
Okay, so this is a fan film. This is not really like I would class it as cinema. It was premiered at a cinema, but
which is crazy, by the way.
Which is crazy and a massive accomplishment. But I don't think it is a fan film. It's not really cinema quality. It's not it's not The Room, because that's cinema. No, but it's I would probably rate the film a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to enjoy, and I think there's a lot of tearjerker moments in Spider-Man Lotus. And I'm sorry, but like the boy with terminal cancer was kind of what sold me. I think I was probably like got very teary around that part, and again because they also like were inspired by the '90s animated series, and again that was a plot from that animated series, and I love how they implemented that in like their own way. I think that idea of Spider-Man like discovering who he is again, and like kind of seeing how valuable the Spider-Man idea is through this kid to motivate him to like keep on being Spider-Man is a really cool thing. And I really like, again, and what I do love about that scene in particular is like the drawing on the wall of I think this kid had like a framed photo.
Oh, it was like superhero day. And he's like, I didn't really have a hero. Like I didn't really have like a dad or anything, but like you're my hero. And so he drew himself in the Spider-Man suit. Yeah,
exactly. And that kind of, I feel, comes back to the whole like everyman thing, what that Spider-Man is really known for as a character, and why people love him, and why this kid definitely loves him is because like anyone can look at this character and just imagine themselves like as the hero. So I think like that. I think the film definitely peaked around probably that part of the film. I think with the whole child investment, and then I think when obviously Peter takes off the mask and reveals his identity, that was definitely, I feel, one of the strongest points. I think the Harry Osborn story, I
honestly thought the Harry Osborn stuff was fucking horrible.
I think he was like, I understand that Goblin is, like meant to be like, borderline emo, but this Harry was very, very angsty. It
got to the bit with it in the rain, when MJ finds him and he's kind of like on the gravestone.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this looks like some TikTok shit, dude. Like, I was like, look, and you're right, it's a fan film. I'm not expecting some fucking Matthew McConaughey, Leonardo DiCaprio type fucking performance.
Yeah, get a Leonardo DiCaprio Spider-Man.
Bro, literally, I mean, we nearly got it with James Cameron, didn't we?
We did, yeah. That's it, yeah.
But like, I was like, I reckon they could do better than that.
Yeah.
So Liam gave this movie a 7 out of 10. I'm gonna give this movie about a 4 or 3 out of 10.
Oh wow, yeah, fair enough.
Very low. And I want to go into the bit with that scene with the kid, like when he visits the kid with terminal cancer, and I think that's where the movie picked up a little bit for me, was in that scene. And I think my problem was with that scene was what I found really strange was, and I think what I took away from this film is I like Spider-Man. I like him. I read quite a few of his comics, but I'm not like Liam. I'm not like super passionate about Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man's everything to him. So like I'm not super up to date with like like the lore, and like Liam probably thinks the same way with Superman. Like he likes Superman, but he's not like me
I do.
with Superman.
Yeah. I mean, I'll always have a deep appreciation for like what Superman does for the genre.
Yeah.
I recall saying, I know this is off topic, but I just want to point out because I mean it's Superman.
Yeah.
But when we did that TAFE,
the little interview thing,
the little interview thing, and I said that, people were asking like, Superman is an overrated character. I feel like Superman is the biggest necessity to the genre in the past
superheroes,
few decades of superheroes,
or even just fiction in general, like
even just fiction. Yeah, absolutely. But again, I'll always have like, I'll always appreciate, what I'm not going to say his name, but every actor who is picked up, the cape and just, threw in an incredible performance. I mean, I liked, I think my favorite book of Superman is probably Red and Blue. I'm a really big fan of that one. And, one sec. Is that my phone vibrating? Hang on, who's this?
But yeah, like I was saying though. No, it's all good. Like I was saying, like Liam loves Spider. I like Spider-Man. Like I understand the character and I understood the references, but I think with that scene, something that really bugged me and was why Spider-Man ended up saying to the kid, "Why me?" Like, and it's cool. Like it's cool to know that Captain America and Thor exist in that world, as well. But for some reason, I felt it was really strange for Spider-Man to kind of go to this kid and go like, "Why me? Why do you like me?"
Yeah.
And then other things, he was kind of like having kind of like a meltdown in front of the kid a little bit about like when he was like when the kid asked him about Gwen. I think that scene had a lot of good things about it, like that whole sequence in general, because that whole sequence was kind of expanded across most of the movie. I guess there were some great scenes in that. I was like, oh damn, that's really cool. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, what the fuck is that?
Fair enough, man.
I think the one thing with that scene could have been so utilized is if that sequence was at the very end of the film and the entire film was Peter struggling with Gwen's death, and then have just like, because the other thing that suffered with this film was the fucking flashbacks. Like, oh my god, how many flashbacks?
Yeah, there were a lot of flashbacks. Yeah, they were like a half of the movie. Oh my god.
I know. So like, the problem was like you would have a scene and it would build up the emotion. Like, let's say for the kid example, you build up some really heartwarming kind of scene, and then it's flashback. You go to Harry Osborn, you're trying to build up that trauma of Harry Osborn. Flashback. You're trying to even establish MJ as a character. That scene on the rooftop with Flash Thompson. Flashback.
Yeah.
It really ruined the momentum of the entire film. So what I was thinking is get rid of the flashbacks, have Peter, get rid of the entire Harry Osborn thing. Maybe just have like a line, like a literal line of dialogue saying Harry's not taking this very well. Like Harry's really struggling with it. And just have it focus on Peter, kind of really struggling to get himself back on his feet. And then at the end, he sees the kid, and then and Peter doesn't even have to say anything. Just have the kid go, oh, like, look at this drawing of Spider-Man. Let's play the Spider-Man game. Like, look at Spider-Man. And just have it in, like, Peter's kind of body language. Realize that this Spider-Man character is more than him. It's more, like, this responsibility. It's everything to people. And I'm going to reference him again, going back to Superman. There's a scene in Batman vs. Superman where Lois Lane says to Superman, Superman and Henry Cavill Superman is kind of doubting himself. After that, that scene when that White House explodes and he's kind of doubting himself.
Yeah.
Lois Lane says to Superman, that S on your chest is the only thing people have. That's the only thing people like that's the only thing people have going for them is that chest, S on your chest. And I think having that at the end would have been really good for him to realize that spider logo or Spider-Man, the idea of a Spider-Man is the only thing people have going for them. And so I think this film was like all over the place. But yeah.
Do you think it was more over the place than like The Amazing Spider-Man 2?
I think the problem with the Amazing Spider-Man 2, just get rid of Harry Osborn and the movie's amazing. No pun intended. But get rid of the Harry Osborn arc. And just have it focus on Electro and Peter and Gwen.
Yeah.
More focus on them, and you have an amazing 2 movies. And I think if we got that movie, we would have had the Amazing Spider-Man 2. No, we would have had the Amazing Spider-Man 3. Sorry, easily if we got that movie. But with the thing with that, sorry,
do you think Spider-Man Lotus like suffers from the same problem as Amazing Spider-Man 2?
I think so. I think the like with Amazing Spider-Man 2, you only have to get rid of one thing, and that movie's great. Spider-Man Lotus, you have to get rid of 7 to 8 things, and that movie's decent. You know, it's good.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the problem with it. I think if it got rid of one thing, then I would have enjoyed it more. But there was so many things you had to remove from that movie. Like I think one of the biggest problems I had with it was kind of like I literally had it. Like it's happened to me again. I literally had it like right here in the front of my brain, and now it's gone.
I feel that.
What was the problem I had with it?
Harry.
It was something. Was it Harry? Yeah, I think Harry. Getting rid of Harry was one of them. Yeah. The other one was Gwen wasn't really established as a character. Now, when I watch superhero movies, right, I kind of like to think of it as I'm going into it as I'm just a fan of the movies. Like, I'm not a comic book reader. I just really enjoyed Tobey Maguire. I really enjoyed Andrew Garfield. I really enjoyed Tom Holland. And now I'm going into this one because I've heard all the hype on TikTok and Instagram, and the suit looks amazing. And I've seen that. Remember that scene that came out months ago?
Yeah.
Final secret, and that the hype started to build up.
Yeah.
So I've gone into that. So that's how I go into comic book movies, because I think that's what's important is trying to win over the general audience rather than us comic book fans. Because like us comic books, you put Superman into fucking Sharknado, and I'll think the movie's 10 out of 10 because Superman's in it. You know?
Like, I'm sorry, Sharknado. Like,
but you know what I mean? Like, just put Superman anywhere, and I'll love it. Like, I don't care.
CGI shit show. Like,
that's what I mean. Like, you look at the Justice League. I know he looks horrible in that movie. I fucking love that movie because it's Superman. You know.
Yeah.
And so I think like and that's just comic book fans just loving anything. Yeah. I think with the general audience, I think going into it, they didn't really establish Gwen as a character really well. Like, I genuinely halfway through the movie, like I was like, I don't care about Gwen. Like, she's not, like, I didn't feel that massive impact she made on Peter's life because she wasn't established well as a character. We saw her for like 5 minutes and then she died.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, because a lot of people would say that the most interesting thing about Gwen Stacy, the character, is her death. Like,
I mean, you look at Chasm too. I mean, that movie's horrible. That her death is one of the greatest moments in comic book movies.
Yeah, it is. Like, the thing is, like, it's funny, kid. Like, with like the shittiest of comic book movies, there's always like a gem scene, you know, that is like hidden. Like, even in Spider-Man 3, like there's a lot of fucking like gem scenes of dialogue, you know, and people just overlook it. Anyway, but no, 100%. I get what you're saying. I feel like Gwen didn't feel she was definitely like she was like her death was the main focus of the film.
Yeah.
And again, obviously they're basing it off of Spider-Man Blue, which is a fantastic book. It's just, it felt very clunky. I will say, I think first of all, getting into like the bare minimum. The actress who plays her.
Oh, she looks great. I think everyone in the movie looks great in general.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Like, honestly, I think with the way that the characters are even like dressed, again, paying homage to like classic comics, like, you know, MJ with the bangs, and then like, you know, like Gwen with the whole like hair. I don't know what you call that, but the
hairband,
the hairband, like, and again, like the green. I was here for it. I thought it was really good. And
it was cool.
I think the actress actually like, and I love Emma Stone. I do. I do, and I'm not gonna sit here and say that Emma Stone is like, you know, like not the best Gwen.
Even Bryce Dallas Howard was a great Gwen Stacy in Spider-Man 3. I think she's underrated.
I think like
she didn't die, but I thought she was good.
Well, no, that's the thing, because I feel like when I rewatched Spider-Man 3, I kind of realized that Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy's personalities were essentially flipped. So, like, I didn't really... Like, she was a model, she was, like, dating the hot guy, and she was a partier, and it's like... That's just Mary Jane with a blonde wig, like, and it's
Yeah,
funny
yeah.
because Mary Jane in that movie comes across more like Gwen Stacy. She's like, like
She's like
very
hyper
like,
focused on her goals and all that. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, yeah. She's like, she's got a future and she's confident and she's upset that like, that Spider-Man's clashing with her relationship, and like, yeah, again, it just feels like it's just like flipped a little bit, but Bryce Dallas Howard like did a she's a fantastic actress. I think
Yeah.
she played a very good Gwen. But I don't know. All I can see is just MJ with a blonde wig. Personally, I would personally say with confidence that Spider-Man Lotus Gwen was a more believable Gwen to the source material than Bryce Dallas Howard was.
I mean, yeah, that's a fair statement, I think. And again, I think that's a good statement. But I think one thing you got to remember is that the movie is focused around Gwen. That Spider-Man 3 wasn't really. She was kind of like
that's a good point.
I guess like a plot point, like a plot block or whatever, like a for Peter, because he's conflicted with MJ, and then like
exactly
with Gwen, and so I think she's kind of there as a plot device. That's what I was trying to. She's there as a plot device.
Yeah, essentially,
to kind of build around Peter and MJ in those movies. But yeah, like we said, I think aesthetically everyone looked great. The suit looked amazing. I mean, I really like the references to the old 60s comics with the turtlenecks and the hairband.
Yeah.
I thought that was really fun. But I just think and one thing I've got with fan film in general, and look, I don't want to be hypocrite because I've written my own fan films, but I think something that fan films that get really tricky, and James Gunn said this about Superman Legacy, is the problem with fan films is when you're so passionate about a character, it's hard to because you got to remember, the most important thing about making a movie is you've got to base it towards general audiences, not comic book nerds. So the problem with, like, if I wanted to write a Superman movie, I wouldn't help but put all these little references to Superman comics because I would know other Superman fans would really enjoy it. But you look at someone's like a general audience, they got to think, who the fuck is that? When did that happen? Who's that? Why Superman? Like all that. So I think what I noticed with this one, and look, it's a great way because you can tell these two, Warren, who are the Gavin, the director, and the actor who played Peter Parker.
I think it's Warren Wade.
Warren,
I think is his name. Warren. Yeah, definitely Warren.
Warren Wade. I think you can tell like they're super passionate about Spider-Man, which is great, which is awesome to see.
Yeah,
like their passion for Spider-Man reached such a big level. That's awesome. But when you boil it down to the script and the performances, it just wasn't there. And I think you can tell they just got too excited with what was happening. And going back to James Gunn was really reluctant to directing Superman Legacy. He goes, I'm not doing it. He goes, I'll write it, but I'm not directing it. He goes, I can't have any part of it. I love the character too much. I don't want to ruin this. I think somebody else has to do it. But then he kind of this is why he's an amazing director. This is why he's a multi-million-dollar director, because he kind of figured that out. But I think with a fan film, I think you get too excited. You kind of, oh my god, I get to do a Spider-Man movie. We have a big budget, all that. Yeah. And I'll say if I got given over $100,000 to make a Superman fan film, I would probably be super excited as well. If you got $100,000 to make a Nightwing movie, you would be over the fucking moon as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I think that's the problem this movie suffers from, is that excitement and splitting, really having the difference between excitement of being a fan and then being a director, two completely different things.
I will say though, just as a throwaway line, when was the last time we watched would you consider it mainstream? I guess you would. Last time we watched a mainstream Spider-Man film that had nothing to do with the multiverse and just was its own narrative.
It would be TASM 2, wouldn't it? Which was nearly over 10 years ago now.
Yeah. Really? So it's been a minute since we've actually gotten an opportunity to sit down and watch a Spider-Man based movie. That obviously isn't owned by Marvel, but it feels good to just have it be a one-on-one Peter Parker story about Gwen Stacy and about characters within the Spider-Man universe. But it's just it's just one. We're not there's no cameos to be expected. It's just we're expecting a grounded heart story about heartache and back breaking. That's
Yeah.
like the
Is that
thought.
and that's a great way of putting it, and that's what I was expecting because Spider-Man Blue is my favorite Spider-Man comic. I absolutely love that comic.
Really?
It is. I've got it in
I didn't
single
know
issues.
that.
It is.
Damn, okay,
It
that's
is
cool.
like you said. I think at the start, it's a tearjerker of a book. It is
It
unbelievable.
is. Yeah,
Especially
absolutely.
that final scene of the final like few pages in the last issue when he's in the attic and he finishes the up.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
that
I
got to
know.
me big time. That bit.
It's
But
crazy.
like I was saying before, you can tell in that movie, the whole thing is kind of like one big flashback, and it's just Peter
Yeah.
narrating over the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then it's at the end we go to the current time, and he's with MJ, and he's got a house and all this other thing. I think, and that's the one problem this movie suffered was it was like it goes the current time flashback, current time flashback, current time flashback, and it was just like I said before, it is. With a movie like that, I think the great example of She-Hulk as well was like you build up something really good and then you lose momentum by having a flashback or a stupid joke, kind of like She-Hulk did. They build up a great story, stupid joke, great story, stupid joke, and that's what this movie suffered with. And I do have to say, and look, again, I will say this about the movie as well. I know a lot of people are criticizing the CGI, and I'm like, look, I wouldn't even discuss the CGI with fan films. Like it's out of the question. You can't talk about how bad a CGI is with a fan film. Like, are you fucking retarded? Like $100,000, If a fucking Warner Brothers can't even make a good CGI in a Flash movie, right? Then how the fuck is someone with $100,000 going to do it? It's just not. But something that comes free is writing. And I think the script is poor, and I think
that's fair.
And I think a lot of the I think in some scenes the performances were okay. I think some of them were horrid. I think you could definitely come back and do another take.
There's a lot of Harry stuff in there that is just like,
especially the scene with MJ in the car. I was like,
oh my god,
that was horrible. It was horrible.
I was just like, that was just like so much angst that went nowhere. And
what was the point of that scene though? Like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you could have just got rid of that entire Harry thing and just have MJ go, look, like Harry's not really dealing with this. Like, I haven't spoken to him. I don't know where he is, but I just know. And then that's it. That's it. That's all you need. But yeah, like you said, I'll let you finish. But like you said, like that car scene was just fucking horrible.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I think really I thought pointed out is that the film has, I will say, a fairly strong opening with Shocker, and again,
this was great. I like that.
I think to see and again the web effects, like the kind of like they show you how good like it's gonna be compared to other like in terms of CGI. Like even in the first like 5 minutes when like he's doing acrobats and like even like when he webs like both the dudes, like it's so detailed. And it's just, again, the Shocker suit looks incredible. Like, I mean, they've poured so much love. They've pulled so much from the 90s animated series, which I thought was brilliant. It's like these guys clearly had so much love for the character. And again, they've utilized the technically adapted it from the animated series, but obviously they've utilized the origin story again. About like when he's telling you about like the wrestling dates and stuff. He's telling this kid. I understand why, but like, would it really need a flashback?
But that's what I mean. It's just too many flashbacks in this goddamn movie. Yeah. It ruins it.
Exactly. Because it's like we all know the story. The brother, he was chasing ends up being the killer. It's up there with
Superman and Batman's origin story. Like, you don't need to tell because every person on the face of the earth knows how Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man got their powers. You don't need to go through that again.
If you were like to walk around Adelaide and you saw this like homeless dude and you were like, "Hey, could you like explain the law of Eternals?" Nah. Could you tell me like how Spider-Man got his powers? Yeah. Like it's pretty.
Yeah,
It's
he got
common.
bit by a spider, and then great power comes great responsibility.
Exactly. Like it's common knowledge at that point. You know, like everyone knows my life story because I'm literally Spider-Man. What? But yeah, it's just like.
Can't let anyone know I'm a Kryptonian, bro. That's got to stay secret.
Yeah, on God, bro. Like I'm literally adventurous. So yeah, I feel like it was a lot of clusterfuck flashbacks sometimes. There is a lot of dialogue in the film that is clunky. Like it's honestly giving like like prequels dialogue, but
I don't like sand.
I've never said it's giving. It's giving. It's coming across like prequel dialogue, and yeah. But again, like I think there's a lot of good in this film, but I don't think the good outweighs the bad. You know?
No, that's a great way to put it, actually.
I think this film has a lot. This film had a lot of potential to be something great. And yeah, it feels like a very. It wasn't like the most satisfying. Honestly, really thinking about it, I'm probably gonna watch it again tonight. I'm probably gonna give it a 6 out of 10, a solid 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty reasonable. I'm like I said, because I remember like counting down to like when this was gonna drop and stuff, and again, you could sort of compare it to Amazing Spider-Man 2 because both Spider-Man Lotus and Amazing Spider-Man 2 had really strong openings, and then from that forth, sort of just like
and both had amazing suits.
Yeah, that's it. Like there's so much to really compare, and I think, yeah, just the opening shots are amazing, CGI amazing, the score amazing, the suit god tier.
Yeah, literally.
And again, the designs of Gwen Stacy and Mary Jane, and again, when it came to the physical appearance, these guys looked like the comic book counterparts. They really did.
They look great.
And Warren Wade, sorry, the fuck is this DC now? He plays a decent Peter Parker. Again, but it's just there's a lot of very clunky dialogue. I thought the graveyard scene was trippy.
With MJ?
The one with MJ. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really weird as well, to be fair, yeah.
I think like it's funny because in the last scene where he's like walking like out of the graveyard, like after seeing Gwen's grave and the narration, like imagine just being like in a graveyard, like paying respect to like your part, and you just see Spider-Man walking slowly like behind you.
Like Spider-Man.
Oh, what's good? Like
you're just like,
where the
you're
fuck
like you're on the gravesand like, oh, I wish you were here. Oh shit, is that Spider-Man?
Pretty much, yeah. I will say though, I will give the Gavin props. I really did like. I don't know that if this line was in Spider-Man Blue or not, but I can't remember for the life of me. But if it wasn't, and this was a genuine line, I will say when he's talking about like the closing narration, where he's talking about Gwen Stacy, and he says something across the lines of, I may never learn to love again, but I am ready to live again.
Yeah, that was a great line. Yeah,
that was probably one of the best lines in the entire movie, and I gotta say, like. Yeah, I just want to point that out.
On the issue. I'll check back, see if that's a line. I'll look later.
Yeah, if that's like out of Spider-Man Blue, yeah, because like let me know, because I'd be curious myself. I need to reread Spider-Man Blue at some point. Because
it would be really strange for them to have, like you said, such shit dialogue, and then just like there was such fire one line, like the whole movie is just horrible dialogue, and then just a fire line.
Pretty much, yeah.
I do want to say that when this movie was coming out and the whole controversy started to happen and people got to boycott the movie, I remember a lot of the other kind of crew members were like, please watch the movie because even though they're assholes, we put a lot of work into it. Mm-hmm. Like you were saying before, I want to give massive props to the costume department who formed all these costumes together.
Absolutely.
And if there was a casting director, I would give props to that because, like we said, aesthetically, they look great. Props to the CGI, like we're saying, not much budget, but still pretty good CGI for $100,000 movie.
I think it's pretty good. Yeah,
I think it's great, and I want to into the composers. Great,
yes,
great score for the entire film.
And you've pulled some fantastic. You've reimagined like in a really iconic score in a really beautiful way, and again, because this film took a lot of elements from that show and implemented them into live action. So in a way, it was pretty much that show come to life, and it's just perfect, man. Like the suit is perfect, the score is perfect, and the swinging scenes, like even at the ending, better than like everything in Far From Home. I'll just say that.
Literally that, and then going on to kind of flashbacks here, but I want to talk about Green Goblin because apparently he has and the weird thing about Green Goblin was like he didn't really need to be in this movie because I get it, like Green Goblin plays a big part in Gwen's death in the comics, but you don't actually get to see the scene where like Green Goblin drops her or Green Goblin captures her. It's just in a warehouse punching each other, and then it's just kind of like that's it. And
implied,
and then it's like it doesn't. Like, I understand why those scenes were there, because you have to kind of let the audience know that this is how Gwen died, and this is why Peter Parker's kind of, really... Because he starts, like, seeing Green Goblin and shit like that, and this is, you have to explain that. But then it's like, they don't even explain the most vital part of the movie is how she died. Because even that scene, it's just not even, like, an actual scene acted out. It's just a TV fucking program that goes, a 24-year-old girl dies in Green Goblin attack.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, they don't even, like... The thing is, like, in a scene like that, I mean, you compare it to the scene where Andrew lost Emma in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and his performance in that. Obviously, that is hard to top. Yeah, but you could have at least attempted.
At least a few takes, just try, just get a few takes at least.
Exactly, like, just have, like, your fist in the air and everything. I did it at Comic-Con with, about a year ago at Supernova. So if I can do it, why couldn't they? I actually might send you a photo of that later if you want.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that. No.
Yeah, that's right. I'll send it to you.
But yeah, like, that was the problem. The biggest because that's another thing. Like, just get rid of you don't need that Green Goblin stuff. Then that is not vital to the film at all. The Shocker stuff was really fun. It really sets up the film really well. Like it kind of sets it up for this fun Spider-Man movie with Shocker. And even just the entire flow of the movie. What I remember directly from Spider-Man Blue, the comic, is Spider-Man, like, cause this Spider-Man, I remember watching it with my friend Matt. I was like, damn, this is the most fucking depressed Spider-Man I've ever seen in my life. Like, even when, like, Tom lost Aunt May, or when Andrew and Toby lost Uncle Ben. And I thought, if I can remember the comic correctly, Spider-Man's more so celebrating her life rather than just being fucking depressed all the time.
Yeah.
Like, he's narrating, like, she was beautiful and she loved life and, like, this great moment I had with her and this great moment I had with her and, and all that stuff. But in this movie, it's like he's depressed the whole time. I'm like, damn. And even when he's around the kid, he's kind of, like, depressed and, like, you can see some scenes, the kids look at him like, who the fuck is this? Like, is this, like, the Spider-Man that I love?
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Bro, he was Homelander, like...
Bro, literally, though, he was like, some scenes in Spider-Man's, like, being really depressed. I could see the kid's reaction, like, the fuck? It's the same Spider-Man that beat Electro, Doc Ock, Green Goblin, And that's what I mean with that scene with the kid was really weird.
Yeah.
Right, I would have had it at the end and him just not say anything and just have, like, his body language kind of... Like, he's kind of slumped down like that when he goes in there, and then you can see him kind of, like, stand himself up and become the Spider-Man that we all know and love.
That's it, yeah. Definitely.
You got anything to say on Spider-Man Lotus? Spider-Man Midless?
Spider-Man... I think, look, this film, at the end of the day, like, I mean...
So you don't go in expecting like fucking Logan or the Batman or anything.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, kind of, like, gotta handle expectations. Like, this is not like, this film is not made for cinema. It's made by people who love this character and wanted to make, essentially, they tried to make a love letter to Spider-Man. And, I mean, they did it with the right intentions. It just, like, from a filmmaker's point of view, it didn't really hit. And from a Spider-Man fan's point of view, it's like, it hit some crucial points, but, like, it didn't really hit everything, and it kind of fell short in a few factors. But like this film can look amazing and it can be casted amazingly. But if the film itself is slow and a little bit overly angsty and cringy at times, and doesn't really make sense, then it's gonna flop. But again,
2002, we reference that a lot. 2002 is a good example. Great cast, great suits.
But like, yeah, it's just the general story just felt very clustered. But again, like, I can appreciate this movie for what it is. I feel like there's a lot to appreciate from Spider-Man Lotus. I think it did a lot of, it is definitely a movie. Definitely a
movie
film.
that came out on YouTube.
Definitely a movie that came out on YouTube. And yeah, I think it's a fun movie, but it's not groundbreaking. Don't go into this movie thinking it's gonna be groundbreaking. Like I said, this is not Logan. This is definitely not No Way Home. But I will say, props to Gavin for actually making a Spider-Man film that isn't focused on the multiverse or any cameos.
Yeah, like the next 7 Spider movies. I mean,
or the next
Spider-Man's
7.
amazing, but yeah.
Bro, the next 7 Marvel movies in general.
Yeah, no, this multiverse stuff I'm getting real fucking sick of.
It's like, it's multiverse fatigue, man. You know, like, it's just great. And you know what? We're the problem. That's the thing. Like, we're the problem.
We keep asking for it. We're always like,
exactly.
oh, I want to see Hugh Jackman Wolverine's back. Actually, fuck the multiverse.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and again, I'm looking forward for Deadpool 3, regardless.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
The thing is, like, I will just say, like, I know we're talking about Lotus, but I'm a little bit worried for Deadpool 3 because Ryan Reynolds supposedly won't have any improv, and he won't be able.
Oh, really? It's just all straight off the script.
I think it's straight off the script. I don't think he's actually allowed to do improv in this film, which is like really worrying to me because like his improv is the best part.
I mean, like you look at the outtakes, the Deadpool outtake. It's just the camera rolling and just him going off. Like they don't cut. It's just him just saying random shit, and then they're like, "That's the one." Cut.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like honestly. But again, like I digress. I'm still looking forward to this film, and it's probably still going to be amazing. Anything with Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds.
Hugh Jackman Wolverine is 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, but no, I think Spider-Man Lotus was it can be enjoyable in like if you want to, like if you're a hardcore Spider-Man comic nerd, and you've read Spider-Man Blue and you love the animated series, there's gonna be some parts in this film you can definitely enjoy. Absolutely,
for sure, yeah.
There's a lot of fight scenes and CGI scenes in this film that it's just straight sex. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really compensate from the lack of story focus and clunky dialogue, and just wasn't the greatest, but it was okay. I could enjoy this film. It was okay.
I mean, I definitely didn't, for sure. I mean, I didn't.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I did go into it like wanting to enjoy it. I do that with every film. I go into it wanting to enjoy this film.
Yeah.
Oh, this mic is so bad. I'm gonna buy a new one.
But again, this is like this. This is the same duo that really enjoyed Thor: Love and Thunder when it came out.
Duo? Do you mean Solo, bro? I fucking hated that movie, dog.
I know, yeah.
I mean, speaking of news, Taika Waititi's back on another Thor film.
He's doing Thor 5. Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
I can't wait for that episode, bro. That episode's gonna be so good, dude.
I can't wait to see more of
me for 2 hours, just raging.
I can't wait to see more of the Chris Pratt and Chris Hemsworth handshake with the snake. So good.
I can't wait for the screaming. Bro, I can't wait for Goku and Superman to be in the movie screaming the entire time, dude.
Yeah, but like they're gonna take out the goats and just replace them like as the goats. It's gonna be great.
It's just,
bro. I mean, they are the goats, so.
I mean, exactly, man.
Yeah.
We'll go into Comics Corner now. Because a comic that I'm super excited to talk about. Liam's grabbing his comic of the week.
Oh, yeah.
One that I went into the comic shop the other week, and I picked up the rest of World's Finest. So I'm fully up to date with World's Finest now, which is awesome.
Okay. Very nice.
But I also picked up Night Terrors as well. I picked up all the tie-ins for Night Terrors. So I picked up Superman, I picked up Action Comics, I picked up Green Lantern. Green Lantern was amazing, by the way. So Night Terrors is like them in a nightmare, like they're all in a sleep. There's new villains called Insomnia, and they're all in they're all asleep in a nightmare, and Green Lantern gets put in one, and he's like going through the nightmare, and then the Insomnia is like, I've got you, Hal Jordan, you're stuck, you know. Hal Jordan's like, you do realize I'm a Green Lantern, motherfucker. I'm the literal counterpart to Fear.
Yeah.
You know, and then just like pops off. It's great. But I also picked up the Batman Night Terror stuff, which is really good. I've been reading a lot of Batman at the moment. There will be a Batman episode coming out, hopefully soon, which will be really fun. I'm super excited to do. But obviously Batman gets put to sleep. You know, and there's a great page, a great 2-3 pages I'm going to read in a sec. But Batman confronts Bruce Wayne, that same Bruce Wayne that was in the alleyway. Because that's his biggest nightmare. It was that night in the alleyway. I'm going to read the pages now because I think it's just it's great. Alright, so it starts off with Batman saying this to himself. If this boy in the alley saw me today, would he be scared or disappointed in what I've become? Did I let myself down? And then Kid Bruce goes, they're dead. My family's gone. I'm all alone. And then Batman kneels down to him and goes, in this moment, you think your mission is yours and yours alone. You're never alone. You'll have a life unlike you ever expected. For a long time, you will live in the shadows, isolated, hidden and shielded away from anything but your mission. But others will find you in the dark. Friends you can't imagine. Some who can fly and shoot from their eyes, who can shoot fire from their eyes. Some who can stop bullets with their bracelets, who are so fast they can break the speed barrier. And children you will make into a better man. And then Kid Bruce goes, that sounds like a dream. And then Batman goes, it's more than that. It's your family. And then this great scene here, this great bit here. Batman hugging Kid Bruce.
That's amazing.
And then the page after, Batman goes, thank you. And then this was great. And then Kid Bruce goes, I'm proud of you. And I was like, damn, that's amazing. I thought that because I think that's what's haunted Batman the most is like, what would that kid in the alley that night, what would he think of him now? So I think it's really great to have that conversation happen.
Yeah.
And that bit about like the Bat family was great, you know, having a family and how he considers the Justice League his family as well. I thought that was really wholesome. So Batman Night Terrors is amazing. Obviously, this variant cover looks insane, by the way.
That does look pretty sick, yeah.
Also, new movie that we forgot to discuss was Blue Beetle. We've got to go see that.
We do have to go see that, yeah.
I've heard amazing things about Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
But Batman Night Terrors is my comic of the week. I generally think you guys should go read it. It's amazing. And the shame Night Terrors are only going to be 2 issues each hero, and then it ends, I think, next month, which is a shame. But Batman Night Terrors,
right enough. Well, that's pretty fair. I've heard about the Nightwing Night Terrors. I've seen it advertised a lot. I think at Gamma Ray. So I'm probably gonna actually suss out that series at some point. Yeah. But I found this. So I've got a bit of a vintage item for you today.
Oh yeah. This looks awesome.
This right here, because we were just talking about the Wolverine, is a combination between Spider-Man and Wolverine's first team up in the Ultimate Universe and issue 5 of Ultimate X-Men. So it's like a whole like combo pretty much.
Yeah.
I found it for like $3. I was just out and about at this. I found this like bookstore like in Adelaide, just like hiding away, and they have like a bunch of comics like going for like $3 I think per issue. So I was like, you know, I didn't really have anything else better to do, so I was like, I'll just buy an issue and just wait for my car to get serviced, and I did. But this issue's funny as it opens essentially with Logan trying to escape Sabretooth and trying to blend in with Homo sapiens and trying to, you know, like hide his mutant identity. At this point, mutants are still frowned upon by society. They're not really seems protective of heroes. They're just, you know, typical, like, you know, people hate mutants, you know. But it's funny. This comic is very very funny because it introduces to Peter the idea of, oh shit, like, like he just starts like overthinking, fuck, maybe I'm a mutant, like, oh my god, and like he's like everyone else on the street, like over in New York, is like, you mutant scum. It's like, I'm a mutant? I think I'm a mutant. I'm like hurt. But yeah, essentially Sabretooth tracks down Logan, and they hash it out like on the street of New York, like in the middle of town square. And again, the fact that two mutants are fighting in the middle of town square and disrupting, like modern day life of, society and humans, obviously people are going to jump to conclusions, and because it's Logan and he's aggressive, and that they're like spraying blood all over, streets. Obviously, the people who are anti-mutant have now just become even more anti-mutant. But yeah, we've got a bit of a Spider-Man and Wolverine team-up thing going on. They're both like pretty much like, as he's thinking about, fuck, am I a mutant, he runs into Wolverine on the top of a building, and then he's talking about, hey, like, what fighting Sabretooth, want to come with? Yes. And they do. So they both take down. It's a really cool panel. Look at this shit.
Oh damn, that's sick.
Yeah, there's a really cool panel where he takes down Sabretooth with a very nice left kick. And yeah, like the art style is pretty sick though. But it's a really humorous like issue. But yeah, it kind of again, because the thing about X-Men is the whole idea of like hating minorities. Obviously it arose from like what's been going on in the past with minorities, and again, like mutants and the X-Men as a group were meant to be Marvel's representation of that in media, and it's definitely highlighted in this comic specifically. And yeah, but it's really good. It's really enjoyable. I mean, I've read a bit of Ultimate X-Men and all of Ultimate Spider-Man, so they're both pretty good runs. So to see them combined together is just a really cool thing. And it ends with obviously, because oh my god, look at it, look how vintage this comic is, when it's got X-Men Evolution advertised.
Well, that's what I love about reading the old comics, man.
Yeah, that's it. It like takes you back to like that decade. But yeah, it pretty much like ends with him. I'll read it out to you, but I'll try and read it in maybe I'll do my best Logan voice. Let me give it a shot. Where was that? Well, how do you know I'm the one you should be helping, Bob? Maybe I'm the bad guy. Ever think of that? Uh-huh. Well, you smell like a wet dog, and I don't mean that as a compliment. See you, kid. Thanks for the lift. What do they want from you? What do you do? What do I want? What do I do? You don't want to know, kid. Are you the bad guy? I don't know. Are they like mutant terrorists, or because hey, I've been thinking maybe I'm a mutant. You're not. How do you know? I can tell. How? Let me ask. Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something, man.
Let me ask you something. Do people yell mutie to you? Well, not until today. I'm not gonna bother doing the Logan accent.
Yeah.
So Logan says, "Are representatives of the government trying to kill you?" Spider-Man responds, "No." "Do you know how you got these powers of yours?" "Yes." "Then you're not a mutant." "Oh." And then, yeah, pretty much like he ends that whole interaction with word to the wise kid, the outfit. Yeah, it's you. Thanks. I love it. Yeah, pretty much the whole issue actually ends with Peter going to Midtown High the next day with the freshest fucking haircut I think I've ever seen.
That's brilliant.
And
that reminds me of the episode of Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, pretty
when they
much.
switch bodies,
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it looks fucking good with like the dude. Like it looks fresh as fuck. Like I should really rock that for like the next episode. But yeah, it's pretty much Ultimate Marvel issue 5. I think it's like an annual, but it's vintage as fuck. Like, yeah, it's what it looks like.
Oh, that's a fire cover right there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, 2 goats on the from a goated run. So yeah, that's what I've read in the last few days.
It's really funny you bring up the old ads. I brought a few old Captain America books from like 2007, 8. I was flicking through them, and they have ads for Spider-Man 3 toys. They're like, get your Spider-Man 3 figures soon. I'm like, damn, I remember seeing that shit on like the TV and like the side of buses and stuff.
Yeah,
that
dude.
really takes me back.
Yeah, I remember seeing that in cinema. I was like, same, so I would have been like 5 years old. Yeah, right. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know, yeah, but it's really cool to like see those ads. Like, I have a few old comics that are advertising Batman 89. That are like, go see Batman 89 soon.
Okay.
And I'm like, damn, that's crazy. I have some comics that are like, go see Man of Steel soon, and I'm like,
oh fucking god, yeah, literally. I think like, man, like, remember when Suicide Squad came out and like people were like advertising that in comics and shit? Like that was a big deal, man. Like that's crazy. But yeah, that's my conclusion to Comics Corner.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, I don't know, just found it at a vintage shop, you know, and just I don't know, read it to pass my day. And honestly, it's funny ads.
Yeah, but that's what I love about those old vintage books. Sometimes you can find, like, I found something that I never would find before, that I didn't even know was real. I found that Punisher 2003 movie comic book. So like that's a movie adaptation. That's the comic adaptation of the movie, the Thomas Jane one.
Yeah, right.
And it was like $10 at this old bookstore. I'm like, holy shit! I love that movie. Yeah. So I was like, damn, I'm really gonna get behind this, and I really want to get more into the adaptations. Like I know, like apparently you know how they did the prelude to the MCU movies, like those comic books they did. Apparently the Infinity War one I really want to get, because that one follows Steve and Natasha, what they were doing during Civil War and Infinity War. So we got that badass version of Steve when his sleeves were rolled up and he had that beard and like he was just throwing hands. He didn't have a shield. It was just all hands.
Yeah, that's a sick moment.
That's a comic book I really want to get. But also there were I think there were some Iron Man 1 books in there. I think there's an Incredible Hulk 2008 comic, which is really good because I love that movie. But I think that'll be it for today's episode. Don't think this one's as long, but yeah, I thought it's because we didn't post last week, obviously due to schedule. Yeah. I think it's good to just kind of get back on track.
Yeah, for sure. No, I really enjoyed this.
But yeah, I'm obviously for anyone listening in Adelaide that lives in Adelaide, go to a local comic shop to pick one of these up.
Absolutely.
Because it'd be great. It would be awesome to see next time I go, and then like all of these are gone. It would be really cool.
That would be good, yeah.
But obviously we'll leave it off with my favorite message of the night. Goku solos your favorite verse.
In eggs.